Welcome to the Blob, folks. Another of our less perhaps controversial flies that we've been tying recently. In the vise I've got a number 10 sedge hook. It's got a slightly wider gape, which for this fly is I think handy. It's got an upturned eye, which really doesn't matter, it can be straight or downturned, but it's not a particularly long shank on this hook. Because we need to build up an amount of material in the middle here, which will be the blob. Story goes that there's some people fishing this particular fly, and it was doing really well, and it was getting hammered by fish, but the fly wasn't tied particularly well, so bits kept falling off it after the numerous fish that were caught on this one particular fly. And after catching several fish, one of the blokes in the boat says, geez, that just looks like a blob now. Anyway, whether you believe it or not, the name did stick. I'm not sure whether I believe that story anyway. The material that we're making, it's only two materials. Well, there's one, thread, and this particular material, it's a classic blob material. This one's in coral, and it's in a 15 mil. And that's the length of the tuft that stick out of it. Comes in a whole range of colours. These blobs can be orange. They can be more than one colour. They can be, as this one is, pink. Some of them you'll see have a slight tail on them. I can get that into view. It's like a little tail on the end here. Not entirely necessary. What do they represent? Good question. I'm not sure. These things can be fished just statically left on the bottom of a lake, and trout will just come and pick them up and eat them. Quite strange. They can be fished in a team of flies. They're a great attracting fly. Pulled through the surface because they're quite flashy. And they seem to work. Some people suggest that they look like a massed blob of little insects that might be grouping together, Daphnia or the like. I don't know, whatever it is, trout seem to enjoy them. The material itself, like lots of chenille, has got a little core in the middle of it. If you strip a little bit of that off, that will expose that particular little bit of core. Before we do that, let's lay a foundation of thread on our hook though. Because this is we'll go down to just the beginning, of just around the bend a little bit on this particular style of hook, and we'll come back and just snip it off. Return your thread back down to where you, at the end there. Lay the exposed section right in there, loose wrap around, and then just come back down, touching turns. Just going to be a bit rough. You can either fold that out of the road or trim it off. I'll trim it off. And if you like, you can throw in a half hitch here too, just to hold everything in position in case it just comes undone. All right, with your material, it comes out from one side only, so it's not two sides. So you're trying to wrap the inner core around the hook itself. So you're trying to get the threads sticking up in the air, if you like, as you go around. And as you go around, just pull them back a little bit on each wrap. Pull them back. And you're gradually making your way up towards the eye of the hook. Pull them back. As you twist it around, you might need to unravel it a couple of times. Ouch, just Stab myself. And that's probably about enough because I'm going to put a little head on this fly. So just lock that off the front there. Don't have anywhere near the amount of thread that I've got out, so I'll wind a bit back. So a couple behind, draw it back, stroke all the threads back, and then come in and you build up a little head behind the eye. Once again, don't crowd the eye so that you can't put your line through. And you're left with that nice little opening there. I can see that. Trim it off. Quick whip finish. It always pays to chuck in a couple of these whip finishes. If a trout's tooth breaks one of them, you've got the other as a backup. So that's why a lot of people do a couple of whip finishes to finish their flies off. So then, be a matter of just a little bit of head cement on that. Just pull them forward. And there's your blob. Ta-da!